Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Deb Bryant, the Marketing Coordinator at Avada, and I will be your host for today's webcast. We have a great presentation today, packed full of insights and best use cases for Oracle Supply Planning Cloud Suite. Presenting today, we have Kevin Martin, our VP of Sales and Solutions, along with Ed Hayek, Cloud Solution Architect here at Avada. We're going to go ahead and get started with Kevin, who will give you a brief introduction to Avada, and then Ed will take it from there and discuss supply and demand planning processes, as well as Oracle Supply Chain Planning Cloud Suite of applications.
Thank you, Deb, for that introduction. Okay, so Avada is a full-service consultancy firm specialized in Oracle software and cloud applications. We do full ERP, meaning financials, manufacturing, inventory, procurement, etc. We also focus on enterprise performance management, or EPM, in the cloud, and all aspects of supply chain management, or SCM, in the cloud as well. We will work with our clients on any additional PaaS services during our implementations that we do. We have several areas that we focus on. We look at overall solutions with the clients. A little bit about this is if a customer is looking for solutions that require a SaaS or a PaaS environment specific to their industry, we can help develop that and have it either specialized for their install, or you can find it on Oracle's marketplace. Additionally, we provide management business consulting, where we are agnostic to the software tools that a customer might be looking at. We help come in and do blueprint exercises or assessments for customers to understand if they need the cloud environment and what applications make sense for them and at what time. All of our implementations include some level of managed services. We provide hypercare support after the implementation is completed, and then we also look to having managed services as a component after the implementation to help augment a customer's staffing or support areas once they go live. All of our implementations include some aspect of educational and training components to make sure that when we leave, you're up and running and using the cloud applications fully, and your team is able to kind of do this on their own. So what separates Avada from other partners that are working with Oracle? One of the first and foremost things is our people. It's our deep expertise in the industry knowledge, and this comes from our people, where a bulk of the consultants that we use with Avada are coming from industry. We've been in your shoes before. We've performed planning. We've been in the demand planning aspects of things. We've used the Oracle applications, and we're very familiar with what it takes not only to use the actual application itself, but understand what kind of things you're trying to gain from using the applications and streamline the processes that are happening in your company. We also recognize that future success of Avada is hinged on your success. We target 100% customer satisfaction. This is for referenceability as well as customer success understanding. We look to work with customers both in future conferences as references for other customers and for future work as well. Third, our strategy. We look at how we've done the integration. We look and see where Oracle's going in the future with cloud. And we understand that all these things come together to not only look at the uniqueness of the client that we're working with, but our solutions that we're bringing to the table. And that's really where we get our tagline, where strategy meets execution. And finally, it's our solutions. We look at business processes, our technology aspects, both integration and other components that we might be looking at, and bringing in industry solutions that we've brought in from working with many, many other clients over the past 20 years of our history to create a solution that works best for your model. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Ed Hayek, who will discuss a little bit more about the details of the solutions for this webinar.
Thank you for that introduction, Kevin. Hi, everybody. My name is Ed Hayek. I'm a solution architect here at Avada. I've had about 20 years of supply chain total experience. I've been with Avada for a couple of years now. Before then, worked as a solution architect as well with Oracle for about 7 years, and before then, over 10 years of experience with a customer of Oracle at Emerson Electric, where I like to say I grew up in supply chain with Oracle tools, having various roles, including manufacturing master scheduling and up to and including manager of global sales and operations planning process. So I'm very much looking forward today to discussing the new cloud supply chain planning applications from Oracle, and in the context of use cases for various people to think about and to explore as you continue your journey through supply chain excellence. What I'd like to start with is a framework that I like to use in talking about supply chain use cases, the foundational and advanced process elements within supply chain planning. In talking about sales and operations planning at the top, or integrated business planning in its most mature form, there are two foundational elements that form the basis upon which sales and operations planning are built: demand planning and supply planning. And these three aspects form what is known in nature as the strongest shape in the form of that triangle. And if you look, you'll see triangles in many different shapes, both in nature as well as man-made structures. And in this case, using triangles to bridge the gap between, say, manual Excel-based processes today and advanced automated and efficient processes as encapsulated in the tools we're going to talk about today. And in pursuing process improvements and especially enablement through advanced planning tools, there are great benefits to the business by doing so. Studies indicate that a solid sales and operations planning process can improve order fulfillment rate by 20 to 40%. Other benchmarking studies indicate companies in the advantaged group operate with about 45 to 55% less cost in their total supply chain. And companies that have best-in-class sales and operations planning processes have a much better retention rate for customers than those that either don't do S&OP or have a very disconnected sales and operations planning process. Now, today we're going to talk about the use cases for expanding capability within your supply chain processes, and for sure exploring the use of advanced planning tools, especially when replacing Excel-based or manual processes within your business. First couple of use cases that I'm going to put in context here is the plan to produce area, meaning setting a forecast and then running a materials requirements plan to figure out what the supply plan would be to help meet that forecasted demand. Now, there's a couple of paths that customers are taking lately. One is when you have, especially those with a large install base and a legacy ERP system, bringing the advanced planning tools from the cloud to bear to help provide better supply chain visibility and modern planning tools while still executing in the legacy system. That's known as sort of a hybrid approach. There's also an approach that we've had customers explore that are the pure cloud approach, meaning from plan to produce, have the planning system all the way through the manufacturing piece, all resident within the cloud. Now, in this case, in both cases, really, we have demand as forecasted and as brought in through sales orders directly impacting the supply plan and or manufacturing plan, depending on the business that you run. A couple other use cases that I'll talk about or touch on include multi-channel fulfillment, where we can bring the supply chain planning cloud in concert with order management aspects to not only manage demand and supply plans, but also through order management, improve customer service levels and the overall customer communication and therefore customer experience with your business. The other one is being more effective in the procurement process. In this case, bringing supply chain planning cloud along with inventory and purchasing cloud together so that you can drive the business through a centralized, demand-driven purchasing plan, with the end benefit being reduced overall purchasing and inventory cost. And then with the asterisk I put in front for integrated business planning, this is where really taking full advantage of the advanced planning tools and the single source of truth that is supply chain planning cloud, and developing a consensus forecast around that, and also manage the process through it. So in looking at what the difference is really between best in class versus disadvantaged with respect to the demand plan, really it comes down to whether or not the plan and the process that generates the plan is strategically aligned with the business direction. One thing that I've seen is best-in-class organizations and best-in-class process characteristics really assure that, one, the plans that are generated are done so in a timely manner. Two, that there's discipline within the system and that key stakeholders both actively participate and are held accountable to the decisions that are made. And three, that there is top-level executive support to help assure that, one, the process is maintained as an important piece of day-to-day business, and two, that strategic objectives of the company are being met and supported by the overall plans. From the supply planning aspect, again, the best-in-class process is very much similar to what demand plan was, assuring that one, there's discipline in the process, that it's done regularly, and that you're aligned and integrated to the full demand plan. The key aspect here is that the forecast or demand plan that's set at the beginning is directly tied to and generates a supply plan in order to meet that demand. Disadvantaged companies on the demand and supply plan really tend to focus on the day-to-day, next week's plan instead of this next quarter's or the next year's plan. And the idea is really when you're aligned in the long term around overall strategic objectives and you have early visibility to potential problems, the whole organization is able to focus on the future. Of course, things happen that require certain firefighting during the day, but that becomes more the exception instead of the rule of the day. So it's no longer waking up and fighting a fire. It's now waking up, setting the appropriate plan, and when necessary, helping fix or avert crisis in the future. And the way that Oracle is doing this is really change the way that they've architected their supply chain management, supply chain planning systems. In the past, what Oracle had done in the value chain planning suite was assemble numerous best-of-breed products into one connected and integrated suite, with each different application operating on its own optimal axes to generate a coordinated plan. And as you can see, although connected and fully integrated, still a fairly complicated looking approach. Today in the Oracle Cloud, what Oracle has done is moved through and generated more of a end-to-end process flow aspect to the planning tools, so that now with Supply Chain Planning Cloud, one of the big areas that we'll dig into today, of course, is the plan to produce area. And this is related to the first two use cases around making sure that we have a connected plan to produce cycle. So the Oracle Supply Chain Planning Cloud suite really encompasses 5 main areas, including order promising, demand management, supply and inventory planning, supply chain collaboration, and of course, sales and operations planning. Now, one thing that is consistent among all the tools is that the current and modern best practices have been embodied in the intrinsic design of the tools, so that whether somebody's looking at an aspect of the demand plan, looking at an aspect of the supply plan, or even interacting with the collaboration partners, the idea is that it's the same interface, the same level of security and process consistency between each of the different aspects, so that instead of 5 disconnected tools, it's really one suite with 5 aspects to the same effective, same look and feel tool to the user. And really it does this by making sure that within one large framework and one suite of applications, all aspects of supply chain planning are addressed within this cloud solution. So if we look at core planning, right, where we're planning the demand, inventory, and supply, that is augmented through the advanced planning applications, including demand management and supply planning. so that we have full visibility to the forecast and what makes up the forecast, and full visibility into the supply plan to meet that forecasted demand. And for the sales and operations planning application, really encompassing not only best practices, but also setting up the technology platform to enable full integrated business planning. So let's dig a little bit into the demand management cloud piece. In this application, what we're set up to do is generate the most accurate forecast possible. We do this by, one, sensing demand, right? Whether we're bringing in inputs of the actual orders in the system, the shipments that have gone out the door, different social or external or even channel data, using that demand sensing aspect to help with the statistical modeling, causal analysis, and market segmentation to predict what the demand will be, and then with those tools, provide information to the different key stakeholder groups so we can collaborate and assure that we're shaping demand in an active way. So how do we accomplish this? The Demand Management Cloud provides easy to visualize comparative analysis so that stakeholder input can be looked at, compared, and contrasted. Demand can also be segmented in a way for meaningful purposes such as direct sales channel versus indirect sales channel. Performance can be compared, and forecast or history trends can be utilized to help forecast what the future is going to look like. In shaping demand, we're looking at aspects especially around new product launches, in particular for high-tech industry, as products might cycle in a matter of weeks or months, certainly possibly less than a year. The idea behind being able to look at past performance of prior launches, past performance of similar products, and be able to automatically and systematically provide the system that data so that it can help predict what the new product is, what the new product launch or what the new product forecast is going to look like. And then using predictive analytics in decomposing the forecast so that overall trend, seasonality, or other causal factors can be brought into analysis and help provide the information that the system will need to generate the best possible forecast. So, in a sense, really what the system is designed to do is help sense, predict, and then shape demand going forward. In sensing demand, what we're looking to do is improve visibility to the past demand patterns, analyze the inherent behavior of those patterns, and make sure we're capturing appropriate business insights such as holiday promotions, seasonal effects, whether it's a warm weather or a cold weather type product. Also managing demand variability, looking at the past forecasts, comparing them to actuals, and providing that feedback loop within the system so that we're appropriately managing our forecast process and using that forecast error metric to improve the overall process performance. And then in achieving business objectives, particularly around new products, really there's a couple aspects that I want to touch on here. One is looking at the new product, optimizing the new product forecast, and assuring that we are basing that new product forecast on performance of prior products in the past and expectations of the new product going forward. Also, as any good advanced planning tool, is the simulation capability within the tool, the what if kind of analysis around what if we move a promotion around, what if we promote more than one product, what if we add a new sales channel to the product. All those questions can be answered as part of the simulation engine tool, and because we're in memory, these simulations can be run extremely fast. Next, with Supply Planning Cloud. Supply planning really is a continuous process. So while from a sales and operations planning standpoint, we might be doing a full sales and operations plan in a matter of a 1-month cycle or monthly cycle, maybe even a weekly cycle. With supply planning, really, it's a 24/7 operation. Whether we have a global operation with different world areas, or whether we're just a single centralized supply planning organization in one time zone. The idea is with supply planning, one, we set the supply plan and look in the context of our monthly planning process. 2, we're updating the supply plan either daily or maybe even real time to continuously monitor and adjust the plan or adjust aspects of the plan in response to new conditions within the supply planning area. And it does this by modeling the global supply network. So in modeling that, the end-to-end network, what we have is capability to, 1, have the system automatically look for alternative forms of supply in the face of potential shortages, or 2, providing an early warning to the supply planner in order to forestall or preemptively act in a way that avoids or averts crisis. And it does this by helping planners resolve supply chain problems in an efficient manner. First is feasibility analysis. Now, the tool today supports a build plan process where we can model supply chain constraints and have the tool alert us or highlight where to meet demand plans, those potential supply constraints could be violated. 2, exception management. Now, whether there's late supply, overconsumption and consumption of including safety stock or stock outs projected, this is the tool area where the supply planner can look and gather information necessary so that they can actively and efficiently take corrective action so that the projected problem doesn't become a real problem. Also, looking at scenarios, questions from customer support asking whether customer can pull in or execute a large order of product, checking to see whether a manufacturing plant can shift demand to another plant. All these sorts of questions can be answered in scenario analysis, and with plan-to-plan comparison, the planner can look at what the original plan was versus what the proposed plan could be and make a fully informed decision of whether that new action is advisable or what the trade-off or plus and minus is of doing that new action. Also, in the face of potential shortages or potential late orders, the tool provides intelligent recommendations in the form of guided resolution. So not only will the tool bring to the attention of the planner when there are potential orders that might be late, it'll also provide guidance around what the best corrective action could be. And then it's up to, of course, the planner to decide whether or not it's actually something that they'll execute. So again, similar to demand planning, we look at 3 main tiers of action. One is plan, monitor, and respond. And in this case, we're going to plan and model the end-to-end supply chain, including contract manufacturers, so that we have full global visibility into planning and giving the calculation engine information it needs to explore and or utilize different fulfillment strategies. Oracle Supply Planning Cloud encompasses many modern best practices that enable supply chain agility. Similar to demand planning, we look at 3 aspects of the planner's day in the life in the form of planning, monitoring, and responding to those plan results. When we're planning, we're looking at the end-to-end supply chain, including contract manufacturers, and bringing to bear information in an efficient way so that the planner, 1, can view what the calculation engine has come up with as far as the best supply plan, and 2, take fully informed and efficient decisions based on those plan results. Also, in order to help make their decision-making efficient, planners are provided at-a-glance summary of plan health, particularly in the form of heat maps and other charts and exception messages, so that they can watch for deviations from plan or potential late orders going out. And through guided resolution, the planner can simulate what-if changes to supply and demand plans, and to help planners respond appropriately to those areas of concern, the tool provides rapid simulation capability so that planners can look at what-if analysis, evaluate before and after what-if analysis results, and implement changes that have the greatest impact on the supply chain, both in the form of customer satisfaction as well as in the form of volume or strategic objective supply plans. Now, for those of you that have been using Oracle tools in the past, particularly value chain planning tools, you might be asking yourself, how does the cloud line up or measure up versus the value chain planning suite? Well, I can honestly tell you that when it comes to the aspect of demand and supply planning cloud versus value chain planning, there have been many, many innovations in the cloud platform. I almost highlighted this entire list as far as the net new capabilities, but I stuck with the top three. The idea is really, for the first time, unified demand and supply planning are brought into one tool with respect to the Oracle tool set. We have the calculation engines and the other aspects that have been working for many years in Oracle Value Chain Planning, brought in under a new skin and new technology that truly unifies the demand and supply planning aspect under one roof. With guided resolution and analytics and intelligent recommendations, really instead of telling a planner what's wrong, the system is also telling the planner how to make it right. And the in-memory aspect of the new tool set makes simulations and recalculations of the plan extremely fast. Gone are the days of measuring plan runs in hours or weekends, and in comes the aspect of rerunning a plan in a matter of minutes measurement instead of hours or days. Now, there are some gaps today with the cloud planning tool versus on-premise. However, I'm very happy to say that from a standpoint, the innovations for most folks or for most users greatly outweigh those gaps. And number two, all the gaps are being actively developed by Oracle Development. And in looking at the futures, basically, what big one was really constraint-based planning. This was a key aspect and key feature available on-premise, and it's coming very soon to the cloud. And as you'll see here in a little bit, automated resolution constraints is available today in sales and operations planning. That engine is going to be coming live in supply planning very soon. So once again, what I wanted to recap a little bit was, remember, foundational elements of demand planning and supply planning leading up to and providing the foundation for integrated business planning in the sales and operations aspect. And I'm happy to say that Oracle Sales and Operations Planning Cloud really is a step above what Oracle had offered in the past. And really, what they've done here is provide a tool set encompasses all 5 aspects of what's considered a fully mature S&OP process. So whether you are in the very basic stages and low maturity level within S&OP, or whether you are ready for the top level or integrated business planning aspects of S&OP, the tool set has various levels of capability embedded within it, so that regardless of what area you are on that spectrum, the tool set can support your process and enable and provide key enablement features to help you progress along that maturity scale. Now, for sales and operations planning, starting with demand and product reviews, really provides the key tools necessary for all stakeholders to coordinate their efforts and make sure that all key stakeholders within the planning process are fully aware of trends or ways that we're managing our demand forecast, including the introduction of new products or product management, whether you're introducing new products or retiring old products or a combination therein. Applying those plans to the supply plan and having a review around whether the capacity and equipment is in place to meet those demand plans, and then linking that operational plan and demand plan into the financial commitments and making sure that we have a strong financial review, not only on the top line, but also in a fully mature process on the bottom line as well. And for those key decision points that require executive decision-making, the software can help present the case or various business cases in a way that allows the executives to make efficient and informed strategic decisions around key aspects of the overall sales and operations plan. Now, how does it accomplish all this? 1, process management. The planning cycle for S&OP is fully configurable to align with the current state of your S&OP process, and then that configuration can be expanded to include aspects as you progress along that maturity scale. The point being here that every key stakeholder within the S&OP process can view the status, view key exhibits, and also view actions and owners and progress to those actions identified during the S&OP process. Integrated business planning aspect of the S&OP tool really amounts to how the tool set brings in information from disparate systems and provides one platform to which all key stakeholders can come and view the state of the business and the state of the plans. The tool also offers enterprise collaboration in the form of integrated social networking, where messages can be sent and received and responded to all within the tool set, and those conversations attached to the S&OP plans for reference later. The tool set also has the capability of rapid simulation, so that when looking at a strategic problem, like say a particular shipping lane having problem and exploring other shipping lanes to provide fulfillment for customer orders. The idea here is that with this rapid simulation capability, the key stakeholders can come up with alternate plans, simulate the ramifications of those plans, and then present those alternate scenarios either during the pre-S&OP meetings or during the actual executive S&OP in order to drive, again, fully informed, data-driven decisions. So with sales and operations planning, the three aspects here are around alignment of the different key stakeholder groups, providing embedded analytics and the tool set necessary for those groups to analyze the plans, tailor that analysis to the unique needs of your business or the unique needs of the particular problem or question at hand. Focus on what's most important by using exception management tool set also included within the tool. Once that analysis is complete and decisions are made, the tool is also fully capable of sending that final consensus plan back down into the supply plan and therefore your execution system, so that you have complete assurance that the decisions made at the top trickle down through to the planning system, which then trickles down into the execution system, so that everybody is aligned to the same plan, one source of truth. Now, I mentioned earlier that the new sales and operations planning tool provides several and significant improvements over the prior tools. And really what this is a true encapsulation of best practice processes. With built-in supply planning rapid simulation capabilities, the tool is actually fully capable of providing that long-range or aggregate strategic level supply planning or demand and supply planning simulation, so that as questions come up in the strategic planning process, they can be answered very quickly. I also mentioned earlier how the operational plan can be constrained, and that constraint-based plan can be brought into the analysis and compared against unconstrained plans or other scenarios, so that the business can again make fully informed decisions. Now in the future, one integration that's coming up is full integration with Planning and Budgeting Cloud. Again, this is another one that's coming soon, but isn't quite available as of today. Now, in looking at different supply chain planning cloud combinations, and in particular S&OP functionality in comparison to those combinations, what we can look at is, once again, if you have the sales and operations planning and one or both of the foundational elements in the cloud, one of the really nice aspects is the way that decisions made in demand management and supply planning flow seamlessly into the sales operations planning aspects, and decisions made in sales operations planning flow seamlessly back down into demand management and supply planning. So really what we're looking at is a full capability. If you have all three aspects, both the foundational elements as well as S&OP in the cloud, you have a fully, completely integrated and functional planning system. If you have a couple of aspects, meaning if you have just S&OP or S&OP and just one other of the aspects, you're still doing very well, you're still on the path. And what I wanted to highlight here really is you can still view detailed demand plans or detailed supply plans with either the standalone sales and operations planning or in combination with one or more of the other products. Now, one thing with using one or more aspect of the supply chain planning cloud, and this comes to really, the the first two use cases around having planned to produce, moving at least some of the aspects into the cloud, whether it's a hybrid system or full cloud system. The idea is that the system is designed such that whether you are doing a full cloud transformation or are doing a coexist or mixed architecture, for the planner and for the planner using the supply chain planning tool, it's seamless. It doesn't matter whether the execution system is in the cloud or the execution system is on a legacy ERP system or a blend therein. The cloud planning tool aggregates information from whatever source it needs to and can also transmit the execution information back into those core systems very seamlessly, especially from the perspective of the planner. And in part, it does this because it is one sort of self-contained and integrated piece running off of effectively the same database or a single planning database. So whether you're using aspects of global order promising, demand management, supply planning, or supply chain collaboration, and in concert with sales and operations planning, the system has capability to fully integrate with, meaning pull information from and provide information to your disparate or external systems from the cloud. And it does this through many available technologies. There are web services available for more real-time aspects, particularly around real-time delivery or real-time demand information. There is a business intelligence area called Oracle Transactional Business Intelligence built into the tool set to help generate reports and also provide information via web services to external systems. You can also use several other available technologies today, and as part of the overall cloud platform philosophy, this is continuously updated. And so as each new quarterly roll-up update comes out, more and more capabilities come out with it as well. So the idea is really, while the cloud might be in its own cloud or own cloud island almost, it can be and typically is set up to be fully integrated to the systems that it needs to be. Another key aspect is tailoring the applications to your specific need. One thing that I've seen customers do and that we definitely advocate is in tailoring the cloud to your particular business needs, it's done so in a very, I'll say, kind of safe manner. As the planning applications are updated over time, those configurations are maintained and still relevant. So as you are continually updating the software, there's no fear of whether or not that particular configuration will work in the new update. Everything works in the new update. The other thing you can do is extend cloud functionality under the form of PaaS applications. Now, one thing that I've kind of alluded to and mentioned here throughout the presentation is how the Oracle applications are continuously updated. And along with the core cloud functionality in setting up the demand plan and supply plan, the advanced application area where we look at enhancements to statistical forecasting methods, handling of causal analytics. On the supply planning side, providing custom metrics and alerts, and also doing side-by-side plan comparisons. And then, of course, the extended functionality of sales and operations planning, particularly with respect to the process management aspect of sales and operations planning, are expanded functionality. And as Oracle development is continuously improving the cloud tool set, not only are they improving the existing applications, particularly the ones that we talked about today, there's also new applications coming on board, one in the form of replenishment planning. Replenishment planning is going to be set up so that inventory policy planning can be efficiently run. Also, production scheduling, providing an interactive interface to allow master scheduling or production planners to manipulate and move around production schedules in an efficient manner. So to conclude, whether you're exploring aspects of that plan to produce business process, or whether you're looking to improve multi-channel fulfillment performance or improve your procurement performance, Oracle Cloud Planning Toolset has the capabilities to, one, enable process improvements 2, provide a platform that is truly a implement once and incrementally update over time instead of implementation and then 5 years later implement again. And it also provides a complete comprehensive tool set that not only provides the capabilities around demand, supply, and S&OP, but also capabilities around order promising, as well as capabilities around supplier collaboration. So with that said, thank you very much for listening. And now I'll go ahead and turn this over back to Deb.
Thank you, Ed, for that very thorough look at the Supply Planning Cloud Suite. For those watching this presentation that are interested in advancing your planning to the cloud, but are not sure where to start, Avada would like to offer a free cloud readiness consultation to you to help your organization define a path to the cloud. You can contact us at connect@avada.com, or you can simply respond to the survey questions following this webcast. Before we conclude, we would like to invite you to join us at the Modern Business Experience Conference in Chicago next March. Registration will be opening soon with a buy one, get one free promotion running through October 21st. On behalf of all of us here at Avada, we thank you for tuning in, and we invite you to contact us if you would like to learn more or have questions about the content presented today. Please take a moment to respond to the survey, send us an email, or visit our website.